Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This is actually going to be a League of Legends. It's like a tutorial of sorts. It's more of mid-game how to play the game and how to follow the game for those of you watching. So really fast, let me go ahead and give the lineup. You have Ezreal, Kayle, Taric, Ryze, and Heimerdinger being played by Chris Danger, the Pander, Perry Butt, great name. Nasuki, Kitten Paws, Misfortune, Alistair, Twisted Fate, Galio, and Nidalee being played by Dai, Thoreau, Superfrog, Gregors, and Unique. And these three guys actually play with regularly, which is why I'm using this replay for that, because otherwise it'd be super biased. Not that I won't be biased anyway, but whatever. Anyhow, League of Legends really is a team composition game, where I feel like Heroes of Newerth and Dota, you can rely on a single player just being extremely talented to win the game for you, and you really don't end up with team composition issues until you get to the higher levels, and people can disagree or agree with me on that. I'm just going to say what it is. I mean, this is League of Legends commentary. We'll have arguments about that later. Team composition is absolutely vital, even at the extreme low levels in League of Legends. So you have essentially what you want is you want a good mix of three things to have a very basic composition. You want to have a good tank, or someone to fill in the tank role. That's why I always say tank instead of things like durable or instead of the actual class listed in League of Legends, because that's the role that will be filled. And what tank is essentially you're trying to draw damage. You're trying to absorb damage that the other team is outputting, and therefore allow the rest of your team to output damage. And usually you'll see Alistair filling a straight tank role. Thoreau, however, is going for more of an aggressive AP build, aka ability power, which I'll talk about in just a minute. On this team, the flat composition, you will have Galio being a tank. He's kind of a tank mage, aka he can also do spells and things like that. And he can actually output a middling damage with his spells. You have Twisted Fate. There's this character right here who I do believe I have the direct view of. He can actually go either way. You can actually make him AP, or he used to be an AP specialist, but now then aka that's ability power, aka magic power. And what that means is when you're talking about AP, you're talking about burst damage from your abilities. So Nidalee, for example, has an ability to throw a spear, which you'll see every now and then. If she just went straight ability power, depending on her ability power ratio, which is different for each character's different abilities. In fact, you can see like the +0 here. When you buy items, in fact, I think I can go to the bank, which are magic based and specifically ability power, and you can think of this as just going straight into attack damage. And you get the big items like Rod of Ages, where it sees +60 ability power, or I think Rabadon's Death Cap is the big one, plus 155 ability power. That's going into certain spells that do certain damage, and certain characters obviously are more burst damage prone than others. Alistair tends not to be one, but Thoreau is actually going for an AP build. So he's filling in a mage role, even though this Alistair is classically a tank character. And this is actually a build I'm going to be showing you guys, which I've already got the go-ahead from Thoreau. He actually thinks this is imbalanced, and this is actually a fantastic build. And I'll talk about builds again in just a second. So you have Dai, who is a pure hybrid. She goes both attack damage and magic damage. So both AP and AD. AD standing for attack damage. On the opposite team, you really kind of have a little bit of a different composition. And I'll talk about them in a second. So you have Superfrog, who's going to be outputting a lot of damage. You have Dai, who's going to be outputting kind of hybrid damage both directions. You have Nidalee, who could be going kind of more support, because she has a heal spell. In fact, looks like she's casting that heal spell now and there. And you have Galio, who's definitely going to be the tank in this situation. Oh man, Nidalee already down. Or it could be this is just random Q and Nidalee is just a random person in there, but that was a very fast death. It looks like Gregors is going to have to pull off lane. On the opposite end, you have Ryze. This is this character here. He is the opposite team's mage. That means he unloads a lot of burst damage. Usually you'll see, actually Ryze in particular, he tends to have more group damage with his spells, but more often than not, you will see the mage on the opposite team unloading a ton of burst damage to try to take out the tank quickly or try to take out any other character that's available to them as quickly as possible. So go in, get a quick kill, and then make the odds basically 4-on-5. Gregor's taking a ton of damage in this bottom lane. You have Taric, who is more of a kind of an off tank. He has more health, kind of naturally, because he has a heal. He has a decent amount of armor. He's not really in the match he's not really a character who's going to push forward and get a lot of kills unless he's played by a very skilled character. Usually, what he's there for is he has an ability that stuns. He has some heals, and he has an ability, his ultimate, That's what that R is. It's always your best ability. And so everything gets more dangerous around level 6. That R ability makes him basically makes him do everybody around him does bonus damage and things. You have Ezreal, who usually can be played as, again, an AP character, but is more often played as an AD character, so attack damage. He's very, very mobile, and he's very good at what's called kiting, which is hopping in and hopping out of battle. Looks like I think we just got a good look at him. You can see he's about half health. Then you have Throw on the opposite end, and this is kind of where I was talking about, where Alistair, he's got that group heal that actually heals the minions. He's pushing forward, and usually... Ooh, the Super Frog dying in the northern lane. Gonna miss some of the action here and there, though, in this tutorial. Throw is going for... So, let me talk about builds a second here, after I talk about Heimerdinger and Kale top. So, Heimerdinger's pure support. He drops, basically he tries to frame battles, and he's one of the few characters, and actually I guess he's a good character to have in here. He's one of the few characters that can completely dictate battles, basically. If he drops turrets, that's basically what he's known for. He's just kind of like a TF2 engineer. So essentially, if you end up in a fight with him and his turrets, all of his turrets in place, it can be a very dangerous situation for your team. Oftentimes, you'll see him stacking magic, because the magic ability, or the ability power, feeds more into his turret damage. You also have that, and this isn't a Heimerdinger, he actually pulled off lane somewhere in the background because he was low in health. The person that was across from him, looks like Throw already has a kill. The person across from him was Kale, and Kale's also kind of tank mage support. She can do some burst damage. She's really known for, and there's Heimerdinger now, and there's Kale following up. She has a heal, she has an ability, and it looks like she's going more mage. As you can see, she's getting that ability power. Her ultimate actually, for a couple seconds, will prevent any one character from taking any damage. And then she has that kind of splash. She has a slow as well, so kind of more of a support character. Can be a carry. Let me talk about carries really fast. A carry is essentially the person who you are depending on to win the game for you. You want them to have all your kills early. You want them to basically get a lot of large items, because this game is very item dependent. Basically get a lot of gold and feed in the line. Ooh, Dai needs to get out of here. A little bit of action happening. And there's Kale doing that long distance mage damage. Heimerdinger is still going to chase him off lane. So what's happening here? You obviously have the two in the lane, the one in the lane. It looks like Throw is coming up to pick off Heimerdinger, and basically you only get experience when you're standing near minions. These guys are backing off because they don't want to die, but at the same time they're losing experience. Throw dives in. Usually you don't see Alistair getting this many kills, by the way. Gets the first kill. Nice. So already he's a very, very good player. So thus far, I think he even has 2 kills already. Yeah, he's already got 2 kills, and I'll talk about his build in just a second. Now they're going to be able to press lane, maybe even deny experience by pushing him off minion line, but it looks like Ezreal came up, gets a kill on Super Frog, but now Kale's going to get picked off as well. And actually, Chris... Okay, that was his ultimate. You saw it just kind of do burst damage. And it looks like Rise is doing a really strong job in the bottom lane. Got 2 kills there with his support with Taric. So, going to be a difficult match already for these guys. But anyway, let me... so, carry. So thus far, usually you don't have Alistair being a carry, but Throw is going to be playing him like a carry with this build, which is really interesting, and I'll talk about in a second. Looking on the opposite side, you could almost assume that, okay, it looks like Rise is going to be their main damage output. And so basically what they're going to want to try to do, and usually Ezreal ends up being it over the long term. Usually the characters in the middle lane ends up being the carry, because the experience is actually divided between everybody who's here and nearby a kill. So as long as you're standing in the middle and all the minions are dying near you, you're the one person there, you're getting additional experience. Which is why it's bad if you just have 5 people standing in one place in one lane, while everybody else is kind of spread out. Throw looks like he's going to go up and try to kill Rise, slow him down. Rise has got an item that actually gives him additional mana and mana regen, because he actually can rely on just the natural burst damage that his character has with spells. And it looks like Rise is going to get caught out of position, and he's going to be killed rather quickly by Throw. Now, the reason this is happening, and the reason you don't usually have this, and the reason I think this is such a genius build for Alistair, is first of all, he has a headbutt, and you saw that kind of in action. What that does is it knocks characters back. So if you can get behind them, you can actually headbutt them. He also has a stun, where it knocks people up in the air. You might actually see it here. Yeah, there it is. See, Ezreal gets knocked up in the air. There, he headbutts them back. and then he's low on health, and Throw can continue to kind of chomp damage. And the thing is those spells usually don't do a huge amount of damage. Usually this is why Alistair is kind of a support / tank character, because he does that and lets someone else get the kill. But the way Thoreau is playing him is he's playing him as a pure carry, basically. He's stacking these Doran rings, which give him ability power early. Also, these Boots of Lucidity, which give him some cooldown ability. And as a result, his base abilities do a lot more damage. And Alistair has a natural heal, which actually also gets a boost from all of this AP. So he's a very durable character who can do a lot of damage. So it's a really creative build on Alistair. And usually, and this is actually what I would call kind of a middling build. It's a very powerful build, but it's what I'll call a middling build. So essentially, you have usually 3 styles of build. Maybe 4. But in the 4th, I'll just leave open. Actually 4 because you have jungle, but I don't talk about jungle this game. Super Frog gonna get sniped on the corner. Yeah. Unfortunate. You have one build, essentially, where players invest items heavily early, and it slows down their economy. And basically what they're trying to... you can think of it in like StarCraft. It's like an all-in. And essentially what they're doing is they're trying to load as many small items that are cheap at the beginning to do as much damage as possible early. However, if they don't get kills, and I'll throw another kill right there. It's hard to keep track of him and all of that. And there he's actually using his ultimate to get out and should be able to escape, scaring Chris Danger off. Basically, you can stack a whole bunch of small items, and what it will do is you know, you'll be really good early, yes, but if you don't get a lot of kills, you're not going to get bonus gold from those kills to continue mid-game. There's a middling build, which is kind of what Thoreau's doing, where it's, even though this doesn't look like a middling build, where you're building items and you're kind of playing it, and this is what usually you'll see the pros do. They'll have more of a balance, where they have good items for where they are at that stage of the game. They build strategically into bigger items and things along those lines. And then sometimes I'll have what's called a high-end build, or... I'm not even sure what to call it otherwise, but basically what you're doing is you're just going for the big, huge, explosive endgame item to start, and usually that kicks in late mid-game or early mid-game, depending on how many creep kills you get and how many kills you get otherwise, luckily, but you have to play extremely passive, because it's going to take a while to get that. Anyway, Throw going to dive in. Very easily killing Kale, and Kale with that stun not even able to get anything done. So, looks like, yeah, Rise is... Nidalee just getting crushed on this bottom lane. Now we have 3 self. 3 there, so that's almost to be expected. But let's see if we can push... yeah, the same situation up top. And again, Heimerdinger not looking super healthy. And keep in mind, Thoreau just used his ultimate right there not too long ago. Ooh, dodged death right there. Anyway, taking a look at Super Frog's build right now, which I think is actually what we're seeing right here. He's gone a little bit with his recommended items, but I've seen this match before, and I've actually seen this build before, so I'll tell you what he's doing, which is very, very creative, and it's what I would call one of those middling builds. So he opened up with the Doran's Blade, which gives him some additional health and a bit of durability early. Then he went to Berserker Greaves, because he realizes, okay, these guys in the opposite end, they didn't go... See, there's the ult from Kale, that's why Heimerdinger's not taking any additional damage, and that's why Thoreau is actually going to not get the kill, might sneak out, Die is going to die. Yeah, that's Thoreau getting annihilated. So you can see how Kale's ult can completely change that situation. They really played the opposite team, just their composition. Nice. Has a very mobile team and it's kind of support heavy, and they're not really a stick in your face team. They're more of a bait you in, drop an ultimate, and then turn around and kill you team, like we saw Kale do with Heimerdinger and Ezreal right there. So they're more of a kite team and kind of a range team. Rise does have a stun, Taric has a stun, but otherwise they don't really have a lot. And I think there's a slow from Kale, but that's just about it, unless you're seeing an item that will create additional stuff, which we might see from Heimerdinger. So essentially the opposite team doesn't really need what the standard mid-game item is, which is Merc Treads. And actually Super Frog just skipping Merc Treads anyway. Well, you might want to ignore me on that one. Super Frog is getting Merc Treads because it goes into his build. He's going for essentially increased attack speed. Hopefully this isn't too boring for you guys. I feel like it's going to be boring, but whatever, I'll do it anyway. Super Frog is going for a bunch of attack speed, and you can see he's getting a bunch of attack speed items. Man, Nidalee's getting crushed bottom lane. Die in a lot of trouble. Actually, this team in a lot of trouble here. It looks like the team I'm following. Die actually having to back off now. Anyway, he's got a lot of attack speed items, because ultimately what he's going for early is this sort of the Divine. And since he has such a huge attack speed bonus between everything he's got, and because every 4th attack speed does 100 extra magic damage, essentially what's going to happen is he's going to be doing a ton of damage very, very quickly. There's Kale pulling out with her ultimate again, and Throw and Super Frog pushing the mid lane. Now we have Heimerdinger. He's also very good at pushing lanes when they're basically he's being ignored. There you can see him dropping that turret, so that middle turret is most certainly going to get taken out. In the meantime, Dai is trying to push up, but I don't know that he has enough firepower to really stop Heimerdinger here at this stage. Heimerdinger mostly stacking ability power and mana regen items. He really needs mana regeneration items. Actually, all mana regen, I take that back, because his turrets cost a lot of mana when he's dropping things like that. Looks like Dai was able to push him back, but in the meantime, oh, maybe not, actually. I thought I heard the tower was destroyed. Signal. Throw and Super Frog sneaking around, want to try to get a kill here. Unfortunately, running into Ezreal, that turret. Ooh, Throw ulting, sneaking in, and again, just because he does so much damage with all these AP items he's got, able to sneak it there. And what you're going to see, actually, as this game goes on, is Throw is still going to fill in that role as a tank. Because he's such a huge threat early like this team, they're going to start focusing him and trying to take him out. And because he's so beefy over time, and because he can keep healing himself, nice job on Chris Danger's part. Basically, they're going to focus on him instead of the characters later in the game they should be focusing on, which is more likely Super Frog, Dai, potentially Nidalee, although she's having a really rough early game here and not playing very well. In fact, I think she's already down. Yeah, she's already died 4 times. And who just needs to flee off that turret, just going to completely push back. Kale can take down turrets so quickly. That's also the composition of this opposite team. It's not just a kind of a kite team, it's also a heavy turret push. You leave Kale alone for any period of time, or Heimerdinger alone for any period of time, they're just going to press through that turret. And looking at this build, you can see she's got an AP ability power item, so she's just stacking ability power, some mana regen, also that cooldown, so she can just spam abilities. Galio now coming up, and he's gone just a flat mana regeneration / resistance item. He's gotten Mercury Treads, which provide tenacity. What tenacity is that's your ability to recover from stuns and slows and things like that. Anyway, things not looking good for this team. They're already down 12-9, and now we're starting to see more the group fight sort of situations. Now, in these group fights, they're really going to have to key in on Thoreau and what he's doing, because Thoreau's really the only character on this team who can initiate. And yet he has a lot of ability power, can do a lot of damage. Gregor's kind of can, but he wants to save it a little bit to the point where they're engaged in a better situation. Looks like they're actually just letting that bottom tower die. Thoreau's going to try to take out that mid turret in the meantime. And these guys, Nidalee's going to get completely crushed here. They're trying to protect it. See, there's the ultimate from Gregor's. He causes a stun, does some burst damage here and there. But Taric can heal all these guys up. Heimerdinger does enough press damage where even though they're backing off the turret right now, they can swing right back around. Unique already very low on health. I'm actually just pressing this up. This is going to force, Super Frog out of position, trying to sneak in and sneak a kill on Kale, but 3-on-1, and he's not going to get out of there. Thus died. Gregor is trying to do what he can, but having to back out. Bad engagement there by Super Frog. Throw with another kill, catching some guys in the jungle. Needs to flee though. Dai gonna try to sweep this up and catch Rise. Rise with a snare though. That stun in open field is still gonna catch him. Actually, that was nice on Throw, baiting him back, and it's gonna get the kill as a result. Nice. But anyway, once it comes down to the team fight stage, which it should already be at, but both teams playing very scattered here, and that again is because of the composition of the opposite team where they want to play a little bit scattered. Ooh, nice kill there. And he's going to be able to get out. Dai trying to chase him down. Again, 3-on-1 situation. Galio trying to provide some support. And actually that providing some extra ground speed. Kale using the ultimate to sneak out once again. And they're chasing 2-on-3, which is a bit dangerous because there's still plenty of health and there's some heals in that group, keep in mind. And neither Galio nor Dai has a heal, and they have a lot of minions and things to deal with in the meantime. Anyway, when they gather, they're going to have to rely on Thoreau to engage, and this is what I've been trying to say for quite a while here, because he can depict the battle. He can drop stuns. He can really be the focus of that fire and allow the rest of them to sneak in and focus down on one character. The character that should probably be focusing on, if Heimerdinger isn't their forward target, is Kale and Rise. Because right now, 5, 2, and 2, 4, 4. They have the most kills. Ezreal's pretty scary as well right now. Ezreal tends to be more of a long-term carry. But Ezreal, I don't think he's hit any big items yet. He has Sheen, which can do some damage, which he can do some damage with that natural attack speed. But Rise with the burst damage, and Kale outputting that heavy AP is actually, it's really hard to decide who to focus here. Throw getting a nice kill in that bottom lane as well. But I don't know that this opposite team is really going to force a team fight. What's nice kill. What they're really focusing on in the meantime, and Thoreau just diving in here, you can see him pushing forward, engaging, now selecting the character he wants, getting Rise first to eliminate that burst damage, now going after Kale, ignoring Ezreal, because Ezreal just doesn't do enough damage at this stage to really be a factor. He will later, though. They're going to have to switch that up, perhaps down the line. Now Kale, yeah, and you can see them doing their thing, which is forcing the other team to overextend, using that ultimate, and then getting the kill afterwards by stringing the opposite team out. Super Frog now in some trouble, is going to have to back up. Taking a lot of damage here, actually. And is probably going to get hunted down and killed. That's a lot of stuns and whatnot. Is deciding to turn around, try to kill Kale, but Kale backing off the exact right second. And as a result, getting a nice finish off right there. The opposite team, their trick is yeah, just let Thoreau engage. If someone gets low, ultimate them, and then turn around and focus them as they're getting strung out. Essentially, they don't need to engage heads up. They can keep pushing these turrets. They're going to have the minion advantage. Let Ezreal get a lot of kills, get a lot of stuff, and then essentially just have more minion kills at the end of the day. Have more turret kills, which is successful thus far. And it's really the people that can turn this around for this team are, one, Super Frog, if he can just go and feed on a lane and buff up. Two, Nidalee. She is getting a little bit AP heavy rather than attack damage heavy. And three, and I guess two, would be die before Nidalee at this stage because she's way underfed. She's kind of a liability with her level right now. Levels do mean a lot in this game, and when you're level 9 going up against like level 12s, you can die very, very rapidly. Tends to be another strategy for certain people to just burst that experience. Anyway, looks like they're trying to engage. You can see, yeah, just not enough health to really hold it. Thoreau is exposed, but he's okay being exposed. He's got that nice passive heal, and as long as he has the majority of his team behind him, he feels okay doing so. Can eat that. Ezreal with a really bad ultimate there. Nidalee and Thoreau can just heal this team up as they retreat, and in the meantime what they're doing is which is probably the worst situation, they're letting Super Frog farm. He can sit here, get kills, it looks like backing off at the right moment. They might be swinging around. As you can see, none of these enemies are accounted for in the minimap. Now that they're not engaged in the middle, Super Frog and very intelligently backing off. Ooh, running into Heimerdinger here is blinded, stunned, exhausted, which is one of those summoner abilities, and he's probably going to die as well. Tried to use his ultimate to escape. That's one of the Twisted Fate's abilities. That's actually what makes this build so strong for him, is he can use that ultimate to escape when he's in desperate trouble like that sometimes. Unfortunately, didn't get it off because Rise able to drop a snare. Just too much. Basically what's called CC, crowd control effects there. What crowd control effects, stuns, snares, things like that allow you to, slows allow you to do, is they allow you to pick the fight, allow you to control, isolate characters out, things like that. Looks like we are having a fight there to the north. Drawn back. Kitten Paw is being damaged, but Taric swinging in from behind, going to try to pick Galio off. Galio trying to escape. They're trying to draw the fight back to the turret. Let's see if Galio uses his ultimate. Nope, not going to around the turret. Probably doesn't have it. Yeah, Dai's right there. Dai going to try to pick off a kill, unfortunately getting drawn back. And now, yeah, just pinned in and going to end up dying. 3-on-1. Thoreau running on, trying to get cleanup. Does get Kitten Paws. Wants Taric, but unfortunately, it looks like the entire team's here, and Thoreau might end up dying here, using his ult to escape. Actually, he's gone up to Lichbane. And now he's just going to try to get as many kills as he can at a distance. Actually, might get a couple. Kale ulting, though. And Thoreau finally dying, despite fighting on a turret. Just too many people there, too high a level. Really able to crush things. Things really not looking good for the blue or for the purple team right at this stage, because they're down a lot of turrets, they're down several kills, and Ezreal at this stage is starting to lap over and get really, really strong. He's got a Trinity Force, really good item for him. Can output a lot of attack, speed, and damage very, very quickly. If he supplements that with some attack damage items, he can do a lot of damage very, very quickly. Or if he even goes for AP items, might work with his ratio. Unique, getting way too aggressive here. There's a lot of slow right there, and Rise with the stun, so very dangerous situation. Nidalee does have good escape capabilities, so sneaking out there. Now engaging in, again, a little bit too far forward. Twisted Fate was the South. He used his ultimate. That's what that eyeball was up there. He's going to sneak out, and it looks like all of a sudden he had 4 up top. Doesn't look like they were able to get a kill, though. Anyway, reviewing everything, it looks like usually we'll see more of a pure hybrid build from Dai. Has a pickaxe, 25 damage. It's stacked early Doran's blades, and that was, again, kind of that early. You can see where this is slowing her down at this stage, where she probably didn't want that second Doran's blade, but maybe came back and was thinking, well, I need to buy something here to kind of stay competitive. Does have the Cloak of Agility. That should be building into a cool item pretty quickly here. In the meantime, Super Frog already has what is going to be one of his endgame items with that Sword of the Divine, so a very high attack speed. Throw now engaging, that's Dragon, I'll talk about that in a second here. Pander, again, able to escape with that ult, re-engaging, has a heal, dropping, big fight here. Thoreau, again, trying to depict battle, trying to chase down Heimerdinger right now, is going to instead get Kale. And at 4, they need to be careful about the trailing characters, so now being swinged around and baited back. The person they really want in that engagement there is Rise, but you could see how Tarek was in front, really providing a lot of forward damage, and as a result, Rise was able to get a kill there. Unfortunately, got caught in a lot of it. Now Tarek trying to escape because it's 4-on-1. I'm not sure why they decided to engage directly into that, because it wasn't the best engagement point. Now Ezreal, rejoining the fight, is again trying to use his ability to kind of shoot and dash to do some damage and dissuade the team away from that engagement. Even though he's there in a very risky situation, he was still able to do some damage and sneak out of it. And in the meantime, it looks like these guys are going to try to, with a nice engagement there, and able to win, just because of positioning, split positioning, and kind of a bad engagement from the opposite team. Able to sneak in, get some of these free minion kills, also kill some of these things in what I call the jungle. The opposite team did get Dragon, which is a big gold boost, basically, whenever you can take that down. Usually, it takes a level 6 character for the team to take it down quickly and efficiently. And it takes a lot of health out of you, so you need to be very careful with doing so. So Thoreau calling the bottom turret, Gregors, and Unique going to get caught perhaps in middle lane. Again, Ezreal, very fast character. Dai trying to swing around and actually sacrificing himself, unfortunately, to try to save these 2 in middle. Looks like they are going to get back. Chris Danger chasing them all the way back. Thoreau diving in now. Unique not joining. Oh, Unique actually not getting back to spawn and not able to swing around either, and as a result, being taken out. Actually, both characters being taken out by Israel's ult, just straight down the line. And again, not the best situation. Middle turret might be down. Whew, excuse me, sneeze commentary. Oh, maybe that's how we should do these commentaries. Just be a little bit more tutorial focused and then talk about the actions they get into mid game. Let me know what you guys think about that. Middle turret down, and now as you can see, not a lot of turrets left. But Super Frog once again isolating the bottom lane, getting as many last hits and as many levels as he can quickly, trying to farm up. Going to lose an inhibitor no matter what. They weren't going to be able to stop that, but that's very intelligent on Super Frog, realizing the situation that he can't stop for. Instead, he's going to do what he can to try to farm and feed this up. Might want to ult to escape from Heimerdinger here on the low lane. At the very least, is going to be pushed back. Actually, might be able to kill Heimerdinger. No, maybe not. Heimerdinger is basically filling in the tank role here at this stage. Super Frog in a bit of trouble. Is running through jungle. There are, other characters running up, and they're trying to box him in. And they are going to be able to. Thus got a kill. No ultimate there. Tarek looked like he was lagging along the corner. Anyway, regathering. So again, 4-on-5 situation. They're going to have some room to get some kills, do some damage here. Dai and Thoreau running through the jungle. They can't. Essentially what's happening here, and the reason they're kind of hanging out here, is they want to go for more of the protected fast kills rather than standing out in open lane where they could be somewhat vulnerable. And this is actually a little bit scary for Gregors here, because you could have guys popping out of nowhere and killing you. And these super minions do a ton of damage. That's probably why Gregors is risking it. But you can see he's playing very, very passively along the corner. Does not want to get stunned from someplace he's not expecting it. Looks like, once again, Twisted Fate back in the fight. Wants to regather up and go do some more attack damage. Wants to try to feed himself up once again so he can be a factor in these fights. Gregors has gone mostly tank items. He's gone mostly magic resistance, recognizing that the main problem are going to be Heimerdinger with that turret damage, Rise, and this is what I was talking about early game. Between attack damage and magic damage, you want to have a variety, because otherwise the other team can essentially go, items that either defend against magic or defend against damage and do it singularly across the board, and then they end up in a situation where they don't have to worry about your composition. That's kind of what's happening here. Ooh, Heimerdinger Gonna die. Super Frog just barely getting out. He does have a minion chasing him, though. Ooh. And might have gotten killed by that Ezreal. Ezreal almost on top of things there. But as you can see, Rage Blade, which is kind of a combination item, but it's still more ability power focused from Kayle. And Kayle has mostly been relying on ability power at this stage. You have Ryze, who's ability power based, and has been really the one doing a lot of damage here. And getting caught a little bit out of position. You have Heimerdinger, who's been completely ability power based. The only person who's really attack damage based is Ezreal. Big engagement. Gregor's is going to sneak out, die, focusing too much. They need to be careful. Still not the best engagement situation. Sacrificing Gregor's. Gregor's just having to die. That's kind of his role as a tank, to keep the other 4 alive. And now that they don't have any basically meat in front of them to absorb damage, neither of these 3 characters can survive the full damage of all of these 4 guys unloading. Maybe not even 2. Actually going to lose a turret here as well. Super Frog's still trying to press it. Thoreau sneaking around the corner. He's gone again. Still very heavy AP. Wow, getting kills, doing a ton of damage with those AP ability power items. Danger. Ooh, Chris Danger sneaking out. Wants to catch that Nidalee, but might end up dying to Thoreau instead. Is now trying to sneak out. That was actually a nice exchange. 3 kills for 1. And they're slowly creeping back up in the kills to death category. Chris Danger now with... Ooh, able to sneak in and get a kill there. Kitten Paws with Thoreau support is in danger. Super Frog just trying to unleash as much damage as possible. The Exhaust, a good ability to try to limit him, but unfortunately 2-on-1, he's not going to be able to get it done, but using one of his summoner abilities, that's one of these down here, to escape. Ghost is the big one that gives you a lot of movement speed to sneak out. Anyhow, it looks like the opposite team, Team Blue, now in some trouble. Well, not some trouble, but they could be. Looks like Nidalee has gone mostly, again, AP, but you have a much better balance on this side of the field because you have Twisted Fate, who can do a lot of attack damage very, very quickly. You have Dai, who's, again, a hybrid, and actually has gone just flat attack damage focus. Look at that. That's a Infinity Edge, which, again, is one of those big endgame items, just is one of the biggest attack damage items you can get. Nidalee has gone AP. You have Thoreau, who's gone AP, more magic-based. So they've got a good spread of the type of damage they're doing, and all they have to worry about is dealing with those spells. Gregor's in a much better position now, actually, to deal with some of those spells. He's trying to get a little bit of armor to maybe deal with an Ezreal that could be shifting around, but Ezreal, as far as just been focusing on Trinity Force, he also has a Bloodthirster. And this is actually, he needs to be very, very careful. So the way the Bloodthirster functions, it is one of those late endgame items. It's a little bit cheaper than Infinity Edge. It does give you 60 damage and some lifesteal. The lifesteal, of course, is exactly what it sounds like. But the thing is you lose a lot of the bonus stuff onto it, and you can see where it's plus 15, plus 3.75. You get plus 1 attack and plus 25% lifesteal, up to a maximum of 40 and 10%. I'm just reading this off. Every time you kill, I think it's 3 minions, like a handful of minions essentially. So you need to rack up a bunch of minion kills, or just flat hero kills, to really power up that Bloodthirster, but you lose all of it if you die. So Chris Danger needs to be very careful that he does not die. If he dies, basically this entire team doesn't have any attack damage items. As you can see, he's actually sitting out of this fight. Sorry for any of the mic bumps here. He's actually sitting back in this fight rather than full on engaging. And he's trying to wait for a good opportunity to kind of hop in. And in the meantime, might even be feeding up those minions. Looks like Panda is still taking some burst damage. Dai is actually very scary here. Can unload a lot of damage very, very rapidly. Has a good mix. Now he's getting mixed up in the fight. And this is really, he's really going to be the key focus now. If they can take him out, keep in mind everybody else does magic damage. And he's really the key to the fight. And the 2 people that are going to have the key on, they're waiting Thoreau to run up and lie a stun, or Gregor's to go up, absorb some damage. Fortunately for Gregor's, he's a low level compared to a lot of these guys, so it could be dangerous. Instead, Dai absorbing some damage, trying to sneak out. They're engaging right on top of the turret, the worst possible point. Taric down. Now running up. It looks like everybody trying to escape. Super Frog is dead, but Thoreau is going to catch Kitten Paws in the meantime. He has his ultimate up. He's going to actually be able to knock Pander back into this fight. Now it is 4-on-2, and Chris Danger needs to flee immediately. Get out of that. Instead dove into that fight, and if he gets stunned, which he did right there by Thoreau, that's it. Good game. Wow, dead. And that was a huge turn of events. Again, bad engagement, engaging right on top of the turret, so it's almost like having a 5th character in that fight. On top of that, Chris Danger making a huge mistake and diving back into that battle. He's the one character who cannot die on this opposite team. with any expectation of a victory. So now again, that Bloodthirster has been emptied of all of its bonus ability. You have a Black Cleaver for Super Frog. Basically increased attack damage, also increased attack speed. What it also does is it kind of removes armor from your opponents while they're taking concentrated fire. And keep in mind, with that major attack speed that Twisted Fate currently has, he can unload a lot of damage very, very rapidly, lower that army very, very rapidly. And what that will do is that will make it die even more effective with her attack damage. And maybe even, well, Thoreau's not doing a ton of attack damage. Neither's Nidalee at this stage. Well, she still has 102 just from her base abilities. But anyway, point being, essentially what Twisted Fate doing is he's filling in that attack damage role, but he's also pseudo support with the item selection, where, yes, he unloads a lot of damage, but he also makes his entire team more effective. Thoreau is trying to steal this blue buff. What this does is it provides additional mana regeneration, also some cooldowns. It's very good to keep that out of your opponent's hands. And it looks like they're going for Baron buff. It's a lot like the blue buff, but it's all the better. It can actually change games. Looks like they've been distracted. They're backing off. The rest of the team's sneaking up. Now they're basically, if you get the last hit, you get the buff. So they might sneak it in there. Super Frog throwing in some cards, using his ultimate to kind of get vision here. They're trying to time it. Super Frog goes in, throws the cards, and gets it! Nice. Great steal. Now they have the buff. These guys are weak for engaging Baron that entire time. Incredible turn of events. Great play by Super Frog. And actually now they're in a great situation to take this match. I don't think that Ezreal has had time to build up that Bloodthirster. In fact, getting a good look. Yeah, see, it's completely empty. He hasn't even really got a stack of minion kills to refill it. Thoreau, again, diving and engaging, trying to catch Pander, not able to catch anyone. Kitten Paws diving to the north and trying to draw off the fire and try to split up the field. It looks like Pander getting too close. Ooh, getting annihilated there very, very rapidly. Gregor's baiting in. Ezreal once again dying. Is still not going to be able to build up that. He's dead. And again, now they can just sit and wail on this team because now Gregor's, a lot of these guys all have ability, have basically magic resistance. They can dive in and out of the fight. And wow, ace. Beautiful play. Taking down that middle turret. And you can see we're having a balanced composition of magic damage and attack damage has really played out well for our friends here on Team Green, or Team Purple. And now they're just going to march straight to victory. Gregor's going mostly attack damage to have a balance of both. He really doesn't need a lot of these plus armor items with Ezreal with that Bloodthirster at the moment. Still helps. And it looks like they're going to take this opportunity to try to win the game, take down the Nexus. Pander very close forward. Nidalee unloading, using the ultimate, and that's not where Pander wanted to use that ultimate. Instead, taking the Nexus and getting a big win. Huge turn of events. Really well played by Team Purple. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope that was somewhat informative. If it wasn't at all, let me know. If you did figure things out or kind of understand how things work a little bit better, let me know, and I'll try. And if you like this style, let me know and I'll stick with it. I might switch at the same time depending on entertainment value. Still figuring out the League of Legends commentary style. Thanks for listening.